I'm Jake, 32, a project manager at a Seattle tech firm, living what I thought was a solid life. Decent job, a two-bedroom apartment with a sliver of Puget Sound view, and a 3-year relationship with Sarah, 29, a freelance graphic designer who could turn a coffee-stained napkin into art. We met at a friend's game night. She obliterated me at Settlers of Cayton, her laugh pulling me in like a tide. 2 years ago, she moved into my place, and we built a life. Sunday brunches at the diner, her stealing my hoodies, her sketchbooks cluttering every surface. But lately, things fell off. She was quieter, always on her phone, brushing off my questions with "I'm just swamped, Jake." I chalked it up to her freelance grind, client deadlines, late nights. I didn't push, didn't want to crowd her. Looking back, I was blind. It hit on a Wednesday, mid-afternoon, during a team meeting. My phone buzzed, and I sneaked a glance. Sarah's text, "Jake, I need some time to figure things out. Things feel heavy, and I need space. Please don't reach out for a bit. I'll let you know when I'm ready." My stomach dropped. Space? Heavy? I reread it, searching for clues, then typed, "Okay, Sarah, take what you need. I'm here." No reply. That night, I cooked dinner alone, her empty chair a silent rebuke. I wanted to be the supportive boyfriend, so I gave her silence, hoping she'd come back with answers. Days dragged. Work, gym, beers with my buddy Matt, who shrugged, "Give her time, man." I didn't touch her stuff. Her clothes hung in the closet. Her art supplies spilled across the dining table. Her favorite mug sat unwashed by the sink. The apartment felt like a museum, and I was just the curator, waiting. 5 days later, I'm on X, scrolling to numb the ache when I see it. A mutual friend, Tara, 30, tagged Sarah in a post from Miami rooftop bar. Sarah's glowing in a sundress, mojito in hand, laughing like she hasn't in months. Next to her, arm around her waist, is Ethan, 30, her ex-caption, chasing sunsets and good vibes. My heart stopped. Ethan, the guy she swore was just a friend after their years-long relationship ended before we met. They're in Miami, looking like a couple, while I'm eating cold pizza in my apartment, honoring her space. The betrayal wasn't a sting, it was a sledgehammer. This wasn't soul-searching. She was auditioning her old life, keeping me as a safety net in my own home. The hurt hardened into clarity. If she wanted space, I'd give her the whole damn universe. Saturday morning, I was up at dawn, coffee brewing, mind racing. First, the apartment. It's mine, lease, bills, all in my name. Sarah moved in without signing anything. We talked about adding her, but never got around to it. Her presence was everywhere. Candles, throw, pillows, half-finished canvases. But legally, this was my domain. I called a locksmith, and by noon, the deadbolt and knob lock were new. $300, but the click of that fresh key felt like reclaiming my life. Her old key was useless now. Next, her studio equipment. Sarah's freelance setup, iMac, dual monitors, Wacom tablet, was her lifeline. 6 months ago, her old computer died, and a major client deadline loomed. Her credit was shot, so I bought a top-tier iMac and a second monitor for grand on my card. Receipts, all mine. She was to pay me back in installments like rent. She paid maybe $500 total. The gear was hers to use, but legally? Me nay. I wasn't going to destroy it. That's not me. But I wasn't letting her claim it after Miami. I contacted Raj, a tech reseller I'd worked with, and laid it out. Breakup, need to sell gear, I'm the owner. He asked for proof of purchase, which I had, and we set a Monday appraisal for the iMac and monitor. I packed the equipment carefully, stored it in the guest room, and left her clothes, sketchbooks, and decor alone. I wasn't out to be cruel, just to protect what was mine. Her ex-posts kept coming. More Miami shots, her and Ethan at a beach club, caption living for the moment. Each one burned, but they fueled my resolve. I wasn't the fool waiting anymore. I was taking charge. Matt dragged me to a Seahawks game Sunday, and I tried to lose myself in the crowd. But my mind churned. Was Ethan the reason for her distance? Or just who she ran to? Didn't matter. She'd drawn a line, and I was stepping over it. Work became my anchor. I dove into a new project, staying late, crunching data, anything to keep my head clear. At home, the apartment felt like a minefield. Her scarf on the couch, her half-read novel. I started boxing small items, not to erase her, but to reclaim my space. I wasn't angry, not exactly. It was colder, like I was performing surgery on my life. I began journaling, scribbling thoughts to process the betrayal. Why didn't I see the signs? The late nights working, the vague excuses? I felt like an idiot, but I wasn't going to stay one. I also reached out to my sister, Ellie, 30, who lives in Portland. She was furious on my behalf, but practical. Secure your stuff, Jake. Don't let her play you. Her words stuck, grounding me. Sarah's trip was set to last another week, per her posts. I didn't know what she'd do when she got back, but I was preparing. I met with my building manager, Carl, a gruff but fair guy, to give him a heads up about the lock change and potential drama. He nodded, said as long as I wasn't breaking the lease, it was my call. I also dug into my finances, ensuring Sarah hadn't accessed my accounts. She never had, but I wasn't taking chances. I changed passwords, checked my credit, locked it down. Every step felt like fortifying a castle. I wasn't just protecting my home, I was protecting myself. She returned on a Tuesday night, around 8. I was nursing a beer, half watching a documentary on urban farming, when I heard keys scrape the lock. My pulse spiked, but I stayed calm. More scraping, then a frustrated, "Jake? What the hell? Knock, knock, knock. My key's not working." Sarah's voice was sharp, like I'd ruined her plans. I opened the door a crack, chain on, and there she was, tanned, hair in a messy bun, suitcase at her feet. "What's going on? Is the lock broken?" she demanded. I kept my tone even. "No, Sada." I changed the locks. Her eyes widened. "You what? Why would you do that?" I leaned against the frame. "You asked for space, no contact. I gave it to you. Permanently." Her face twisted, confusion, then fury. "Jake, I just needed time to think. You can't lock me out of our home." I raised an eyebrow. "Our home?" I saw the Miami posts. "You and Ethan looked happy. Figured things out." She flushed. "That was nothing. We're friends." It was a group trip. I didn't blink. "Friends who post couple-wise sunset pics while you tell me to stay away?" "Sure." She pivoted, voice rising. "This is ridiculous. My stuff's in there. Where's my computer? I need it for work." I crossed my arms. "Your stuff's here for now. You can arrange to pick it up." "The iMac and monitor?" "Mine, Sarath. My purchase, my name. I'm selling them." Her jaw dropped. "You're selling my equipment? That's my career. I paid you for that." I shook my head. "You paid a little for using it. The receipt's mine. It's gone." She exploded. "You're stealing. I'll call the cops." I shrugged. "Go for it. Tell them your boyfriend locked his own apartment after you vacationed with your ex. Explain how you own gear I bought. Good luck." She froze, phone in hand, then glared. "You're a monster, Jake. You planned this." I met her eyes. "You planned Miami with Ethan and told me to back off. I'm protecting what's mine. Text me for your stuff. We're done." I shut the door, locked it, and stood there, adrenaline surging. Outside, she muttered, then left. My phone buzzed. Her, demanding her things tomorrow at 9. I replied, "Fine. It'll be ready." I spent the night boxing her clothes, sketchbooks, candles, and trinkets. Her favorite sweater, the mug from our Oregon road trip, the earrings I bought her last Christmas. Each item was a small wound, but packing felt like purging. The iMac was with Raj, who'd offered $3,000 after a quick check. It wasn't about the money. It was about closing a door. I wasn't hurting her. I was surviving her. I called Ellie, needing her steadiness. She listened, then said, "You're doing the right thing." She made her bed. Her support anchored me. I also reached out to Tara, our mutual friend who'd tagged the Miami post. Tara was apologetic, hadn't realized the post would blow things up. She confirmed Ethan had been around for weeks, hinting Sarah had been in touch with him long before the trip. The news cut, but it validated my choice. The next morning, I stacked the boxes in the entryway, ready for pickup. I didn't sleep much, replaying Sarah's entitlement, her assumption I'd wait. She thought she could keep me on standby, use my home as her fallback. She was wrong. I started researching local therapists, sensing I need help processing this. I found Claire, a counselor with a no-nonsense vibe, and booked a session for the following week. I also met with my bank to confirm Sarah hadn't left any financial traps. No joint accounts, no lingering access. I was methodical, building a wall between her chaos and my stability. The pickup loomed, and I braced for drama. The pickup was a circus. 9 sharp, a knock. Not Sarah, her best friend, Lauren, 28, and her brother, Mike, 34. Sarah was in the car, too upset to face me. Lauren launched in, voice dripping venom. "Jake, this is low. Locking her out? Selling her work gear? Who are you?" I stayed calm. Someone who got told no contact while she partied with Ethan in Miami. Check her ex, Lauren. Mike, usually level-headed, looked uneasy but stayed quiet. I pointed to the boxes. Her stuff's here. Take it. One shot. Lauren scoffed. We need to check inside. What if you kept something? I held firm. You get what's here. You're not coming in. Mike sighed. Jake, don't make this harder. I turned to him. Harder? She ran off with her ex. Take the boxes. They grumbled, but hauled the boxes out. Lauren kept up a monologue. How I was heartless. How Sarah was devastated. How I owed her for the equipment. Mike stayed silent, but I caught him glancing at the empty desk where the iMac used to sit. 3 trips later, they were gone. My apartment felt lighter, like I'd shed a weight. Then the text started. Sarah, swinging between I'm sorry, Jake, I messed up. Let's talk and you'll pay for this, I'll sue. I replied once. The iMac was mine, legally. Your payments were for use. Your stuff's gone. Stop contacting me. Blocked her. The fallout hit fast. Her friends texting, selling her gear? That's cold. She was spinning a tale, omitting Ethan, painting me as the villain. I explained to Tara and Ellie, Sarah's text, Miami, the legal truth. Tara got it, said Sarah was unraveling. Ellie wanted to confront her, but settled for helping me rearrange the living room, ditching Sarah's boho pillows for sleek cushions. Then came the first dirty move. Carl, my building manager, called about a complaint, shouting disturbances from my unit. I knew it was Sarah or Lauren. I explained, ex-girlfriend, not on the lease, one loud moment when she tried her key, her family picked up her stuff. No issues since. Carl, a no-nonsense guy, says noted but not a problem unless it escalates. It was a cheap shot, trying to mess with my home. I started documenting everything, texts, posts, receipts. I also met with a neighbor, Mrs. Chun, 65, who'd heard the commotion. She confirmed it was brief, just Sarah outside, and offered to vouch for me if needed. Her support, small but real, meant a lot. I wasn't just protecting my space. I was building a fortress. The next month was a siege, but I was ready. Sarah wasn't done. A letter arrived from a shady lawyer, demanding $5,000 for her contributions to the iMac and emotional distress. It was a mess, typos, weak claims, no teeth. I sent it to Dana, my lawyer friend from college, who crafted a masterpiece. Proof of my ownership, Sarah's space text, Miami screenshots, her payments as usage fees, and a threat of a restraining order for harassment. Dana added a jab. Sarah owed me for equipment depreciation based on industry rates. A bluff but sharp. The letter went out, certified mail, and silence followed. Her lawyer likely saw the evidence and bailed. Sarah was crashing with Lauren, but it was rocky. Tara, who stayed neutral, said Sarah was treating Lauren's place like a hotel, not paying rent, leaving dishes, acting entitled. Lauren was frustrated but felt obligated, having been Sarah's cheerleader for years. Ethan? Gone. Tara said he ghosted after Miami, uninterested in Sarah's drama. He'd always been the fun times guy, not the commitment type. Sarah leaned on her parents, Tom and Linda, 60-ish, who lived in Tacoma. They helped with small cash infusions, but couldn't bankroll her old lifestyle, her designer bags, her artisanal coffee habit. She picked up barista shifts at a local shop, complaining I ruined her career by selling her equipment. No mention of her choices, of course. The smear campaign ramped up. More friends, mostly Sarah's circle, reached out, accusing me of cruelty. Kicking her out? Selling her stuff? That's not you, Jake. I stopped explaining to most, but for Tara and Ellie, I laid it out. Sarah's text. Ethan, the legal reality. Tara said Sarah was spiraling, blaming everyone but herself. Ellie, fiercely protective, helped me redecorate. New curtains, a sleek coffee table, no trace of Sarah's aesthetic. My core crew, Matt, Dana, Ellie, Tara, had my back. They saw the posts, knew Sarah's game. I was done justifying myself to others. Then came the second dirty play. My company's HR department called, claiming an anonymous complaint about my unprofessional behavior, outside work, citing public disputes. My blood ran cold. This was Sarah, or maybe Lauren, hitting my career. I met with HR, explained the breakup, the one-time argument when Sarah tried her key, and the false landlord complaint. I showed Dana's letter and receipts, proving my actions were legal. HR dropped it, but I was shaken. This wasn't just entitlement, it was vindictive. I consulted Dana, who suggested a cease and desist if it continued. I held off, but kept every email, text, and call log. My apartment became my refuge. I cooked real meals, salmon, risotto, things Sarah never liked. I sold the iMac for $3,000, paid down my card, and bought a new desk, a clean slate. I started therapy with Claire, who cut through the noise. Why didn't I see Sarah's drift? Claire said it's not my fault. Sarah's entitlement, her patterns, not mine. I was starting to believe her. I also joined a local hiking group, spending weekends on trails in the Cascades. The mountains cleared my head, each step a small rebellion against the chaos Sarah left. I met Chris, 35, a quiet guy in the group who'd lost his own relationship to infidelity. We bonded over trail mix and stories, a new friendship forming. Work was a lifeline. I threw myself into a new client project, a high-stakes pitch for a biotech firm. Late nights, endless spreadsheets, but it kept me focused. My boss, Priya, 42, noticed my drive and hinted at a promotion. I also started a side gig, consulting for a startup run by an old colleague, Sam, 34. It was low-key, strategy sessions, market analysis, but stretched my brain and padded my savings. Financially, I was recovering from the hit I'd taken for Sarah's gear. Emotionally, I was wobblier. I catch myself staring at old photos, us at a music festival, her head on my shoulder. I deleted them, not out of spite, but to move forward. Sarah thought she could use my home, my resources, while she played with Ethan. She underestimated me. I didn't scream or beg. I acted. Locks changed, gear sold, boundaries set. Every move was legal, deliberate mine. 2 months in, the storm was fading but not gone. Sarah went quiet, likely spooked by Dana's letter. Tara said she'd moved to Tacoma with her parents, working retail at a mall, still spinning her victim tale. Ethan was out. His ex went private, but Tara heard he was back to his player ways in Portland. Lauren sent a half-hearted message. You could have been kinder, Jake, but I didn't respond. Blocked her. The smear campaign lost steam. My real friend stuck around, and the rest drifted. Tara, who'd stayed neutral, was leaning my way, tired of Sarah's lies. Ellie threw a small dinner at her place in Portland, inviting me, Matt, and Dana. We ate tacos, played cards, and for the first time in months, I felt light. Therapy with Claire was a game changer. We dug into my blind spots, why I'd ignored Sarah's red flags, her need for validation, her habit of bending the truth. I'd been too trusting, too quick to fix her problems. I wasn't broken, but I wanted to grow. Claire introduced me to mindfulness exercises, small practices to ground myself when the anger flared. I started dating casual coffee meetups through apps. One, Mia, 31, a high school teacher, stood out. She was witty, loved hiking, and had a goofy lab named Max. We'd had 2 dates, no pressure, just easy laughs. It felt like a spark, not a fire, and that was enough. Work was thriving. The biotech pitch landed, earning me a promotion to senior project manager. More responsibility, a nice raise. I was mentoring a new hire, Leo, 25, a sharp kid with big ideas. Mentoring felt good, like paying forward the guidance I'd gotten. The startup gig with Sam was growing, late-night brainstorming, sketching out business models. It was exciting, a reminder I could build something new. My apartment was fully mine again. I repainted the bedroom a deep blue, swapped the couch for a modern sectional, and hung photos from a solo trip to Iceland. Ellie helped pick out plants, turning my balcony into a green oasis. I was cooking for myself, experimenting with Thai curries and homemade bread. Small wins, but they grounded me. Sarah wasn't done entirely. Tara said she'd tried to rally mutual friends for a confrontation at a friend's birthday party I'd skipped. Tara warned me, and I stayed away, but it stung. Sarah was still painting me as the villain, leaving out Ethan, framing the equipment sale as theft. Tara said the group was split. Some bought her story, others saw through it. I didn't care much. I was building a new circle. Chris from the hiking group became a regular hangout, joining me and Matt for beers. I also reconnected with an old college friend, Rachel, 33, who'd moved back to Seattle. She was a chef, full of stories, and her no-drama vibe was a relief. My world was expanding, leaving Sarah's chaos behind. Then came a third dirty play, subtler but insidious. My car insurance company called, alleging someone claimed I'd loaned my Subaru Outback to them, and they damaged it. The claim was nonsense. My car was fine, parked in my garage. I sent photos, proof of ownership, and a statement denying any loan. The claim was dropped, but I knew it was Sarah or Lauren, probing for weaknesses. Dana drafted a cease and desist, naming them, citing the landlord, HR, and insurance stunts. We sent it certified mail. No response, but the silence felt like victory. I also installed a security camera at my door, a small expense for peace of mind. Mrs. Chun, my neighbor, approved, saying she'd keep an eye out. Her quiet support was a reminder I wasn't alone. For months later, the dust was settling, but the scars lingered. Sarah was in Tacoma, working a clothing store, living with her parents. Tara said she'd burned bridges with Lauren, who kicked her out after months of freeloading. Ethan was a non-factor, reportedly dating someone new in Portland. Sarah's parents, Tom and Linda, hadn't reached out, likely embarrassed by her antics. The smear campaign was dead. Most mutual friends had picked sides, and I kept the ones who mattered. Tara finally cut contact with Sarah, tired of her lies. Ellie threw a housewarming for my new apartment, inviting Matt, Dana, Rachel, and Chris. We grilled burgers, laughed over old college stories, and I felt a warmth I hadn't in months. Therapy with Claire was ongoing. We explored not just Sarah, but my deeper patterns, why I'd taken on her burdens, why I'd ignored her growing detachment. I wasn't grieving the relationship. I was grieving the version of me who'd trusted too blindly. Claire helped me reframe it. I wasn't a fool, just someone who loved deeply and learned hard. I was hiking more, even leading group trips in the Cascades. Chris and I tackled a tough trail to Mount Si, swapping stories of betrayal and resilience. The mountains were my reset, each vista a reminder of what I can endure. Mia and I were still seeing each other, now on our fifth date. She'd introduced me to Max, her lab, and we'd spent a weekend kayaking on Lake Washington. It wasn't love, but it was honest, and that was enough. Work was a bright spot. The promotion came with a corner office, small but mine, and I was leading bigger projects. Leo, my mentee, was thriving, his energy pushing me to stay sharp. The startup with Sam was gaining traction. We'd landed our first client, a local brewery needing a rebrand. It was exhilarating, a chance to flex creative muscles I'd neglected. Financially, I was solid. The IMAX sale erased the debt from Sarah's gear, and my consulting gig was building a nest egg. I started investing, small stakes, guided by Matt's finance tips. I also took up photography, a hobby I'd dropped years ago, capturing Seattle's moody skies and rugged trails. It was a way to see the world anew, to focus on what was ahead. Sarah's next move was indirect. Chris, from the hiking group, mentioned he'd matched with her on a dating app. She'd ranted about her abusive ex who'd stolen her career, clearly meaning me. Chris, who knew my side, didn't buy it but passed it along. It didn't hurt as much as it would have months ago. Sarah was stuck, unable to move on. I felt pity, not anger. Dana's cease and desist had kept her quiet, and I hadn't heard from her or her family since. If she tried again, I had a lawyer, evidence, and a paper trail ready. I also started volunteering at a local community center, teaching basic coding to teens. It was Leo's idea, a way to give back, and it grounded me. Watching kids light up as they built their first program reminded me of my own early dreams before Sarah's drama clouded them. I reconnected with my parents, Mark and Susan, 60, who'd been quietly supportive from their home in Spokane. They'd never loved Sarah, sensing her self-absorption, but hadn't pushed. Over a weekend visit, we hiked near their cabin, and Dad, usually stoic, said, "You're stronger than you know, Jake." Mom sent me home with a box of old photos. Me as a kid, building forts, chasing dreams. It was a reminder of who I was before I let Sarah's needs eclipse mine. Rachel, my chef friend, started hosting potlucks, pulling me into her circle of artists and foodies. Her world, loud, chaotic, warm, was a stark contrast to Sarah's calculated charm. I was finding my people piece by piece. 6 months out, I'm not the man I was. The betrayal still lingers. 3 years, and Sarah threw it away for a fling, expecting me to wait. But I've rebuilt brick by brick. My apartment is a home again, filled with my choices. New art, a record player spinning jazz, a shelf of books I'm reading. I'm hosting game nights, cooking for Rachel, Chris, and Mia, reclaiming the space where Sarah once held court. Mia and I are official, taking it slow. She's met Ellie, Matt, and my parents, and they approve. Max's toys are scattered across my floor, a messy, joyful invasion. We're planning a trip to Banff next summer, just us in the mountains. It's not love yet, but it's real. Work is a constant. The biotech client expanded their contract, and I'm in line for another raise. I'm leading a team of 5 now, including Leo, who's become a friend. The startup with Sam is thriving. We're pitching to a second client, a tech nonprofit. I'm considering making it full-time someday, a leap I'd never have imagined a year ago. Photography's growing. I've sold a few prints at a local gallery, thanks to Rachel's connections. Hiking remains my escape. I've tackled tougher trails, even summiting Mount Rainier with Chris. The view from the top, raw, endless, was a mirror of what I'd survived. Therapy's less frequent, but Claire's there when I need her. I've forgiven myself for not seeing Sarah's truth sooner. I haven't forgiven her, but I don't need to. She's a chapter, not my story. Sarah's in Tacoma, per Tara's last update, scraping by, still blaming me. Her parents are fed up, Lauren's done, and Ethan's a ghost. She tried reaching out to mutuals again, but her story's old news. The consequences hit her hard. No apartment, no gear, no safety net. I didn't destroy her. She did that herself. My revenge, if you call it that, was quiet. I gave Sarah the space she asked for and let her choices bury her. The new locks, the empty desk, the silence, they're my freedom. She thought she could play me, keep my life as her fallback. She was wrong. I'm not gloating. I'm living. I'm building a career, a home, a future. Mia's laugh, Max's muddy paws, the hum of a trail under my boots, the buzz of a new project, they're mine. For the first time in years, I'm not carrying someone else's weight. I'm carrying myself, and that's enough. All right, what did you think? Did Jake's story hit you as hard as it did us? Drop a like if you're rooting for his comeback, and subscribe for more real-life dramas that keep you hooked. Share your thoughts in the comments. What would you have done in Jake's shoes? Let's keep the convo going.